The story sharpens, because what looks like a routine extension of power is anything but ordinary. Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi isn't just staying in office, he's stepping deeper into one of the most volatile policing environments in South Africa. 5 more years. That's not a renewal, it's a test. A test of authority, resilience, and control in a province where crime doesn't just challenge the law, it often outpaces it. Stay with this, because what unfolds behind this confirmation might change how you see leadership in crisis zones. And if you're the kind of person who wants to understand power before it shifts, hit subscribe now and watch this to the very end, because the final moments reveal what most people are missing. Now here's the tension most headlines won't tell you. This confirmation didn't land in a vacuum. It dropped into a province already buzzing with political pressure, internal police conflicts, and rising public scrutiny. KwaZulu-Natal isn't just another region. It's a battleground of influence where organized crime networks, political factions, and community frustration collide daily. Extending Mkhwanazi's tenure signals trust from the top, yes, but it also signals something deeper, unfinished business. The real question isn't why he was confirmed. It's what he's expected to fix that others couldn't. Before diving deeper, think about this. If you were handed control over a system under constant pressure, would you reinforce it or rebuild it entirely? That question sits at the heart of Mkhwanazi's next 5 years. Because leadership isn't just about holding a title, it's about surviving the weight that comes with it. What makes this confirmation so compelling is the man himself. Mkhwanazi is not new to controversy or complexity. He has built a reputation as a tough, no-nonsense officer who doesn't easily bend under pressure. But strength in leadership can be a double-edged sword. In environments like KwaZulu-Natal, firmness can bring order or resistance. His past actions have earned both respect and criticism, and that balance will define his future impact. One decision can shift everything. There's also the timing. This extension comes at a moment when public confidence in policing structures is fragile. Communities want results, not promises. They want visible change, safer streets, faster responses, real accountability. By confirming Mkhwanazi, authorities are essentially saying, he's the one who can deliver. That's a heavy expectation to carry, but expectations alone don't change reality. Strategy does. And this is where things get interesting. Mkhwanazi's leadership style leans toward decisive action, swift operations, visible enforcement, and a strong chain of command. In theory, that's exactly what a high-crime province needs. In practice, however, it requires precision. Too much force can alienate communities, too little can embolden criminals. Balance is everything. Now consider the internal dynamics of the police force itself. Leadership at that level isn't just about dealing with criminals. It's about managing officers, politics, and institutional culture. Morale within the ranks can make or break any strategy. If officers trust their leader, operations flow. If they don't, cracks begin to show, quietly at first, then all at once. And here's where your attention matters most. Because halfway through this story, we reach the turning point, what this extension really means for the future of policing in the province. If you're still watching, you're already ahead of most people who stop at headlines. Keep going, because the next layer reveals the stakes beneath the surface. Midway through this unfolding narrative, the confirmation begins to look less like a reward and more like a responsibility loaded with urgency. Crime patterns in KwaZulu-Natal have evolved, more organized, more coordinated, and in some cases more daring. This isn't random activity, it's calculated. That changes how policing must respond. Traditional methods won't be enough. Adaptation is no longer optional. There's also a broader implication. Leadership continuity can bring stability, but only if it's paired with innovation. 5 more years under the same commissioner means strategies must evolve, not repeat. Doing the same thing and expecting different results rarely works. That's the quiet risk. At the same time, political backing plays a crucial role. A commissioner with strong support can push reforms faster, enforce discipline more effectively, and implement changes without constant resistance. But that support can also come with expectations, results that must be delivered within tight timelines. Pressure builds quickly. Now shift perspective for a moment. Imagine being in a community that has seen repeated crime incidents. Every siren, every patrol car, every announcement carries weight. People don't just watch, they judge outcomes. Trust is built slowly but lost instantly. That's the environment Mkhwanazi steps back into, now with even more scrutiny. And scrutiny doesn't just come from the public. Media attention, political oversight, and internal evaluations all converge at this level. Every decision is examined. Every outcome is measured. There's no room for complacency. Not now. But here's something many overlook. Leadership isn't just about solving problems, it's about setting direction. Over the next 5 years, Mkhwanazi has the opportunity to shape not just responses to crime, but the very structure of policing in the province. Training, resource allocation, intelligence coordination, all of it can shift under his command. That's where real change happens. Now we enter the second wind of this story, where expectations meet reality. Because extending a term doesn't guarantee success. It simply extends the timeline in which success must be proven. One of the biggest challenges ahead lies in intelligence-led policing. Modern crime isn't just about what happens on the streets. It's about networks, data, and coordination behind the scenes. Strengthening intelligence units could be the difference between reacting to crime and preventing it. That shift is critical. Another layer involves community engagement. Policing works best when communities cooperate. Without trust, even the best strategies fall short. Rebuilding that trust requires transparency, consistency, and visible accountability. It's not easy, but it's essential. There's also the question of resources. Effective policing depends on more than leadership. It depends on tools, personnel, and infrastructure. Without adequate support, even the strongest strategies struggle to succeed. This is where coordination with national structures becomes vital. And then there's the human factor. Officers on the ground face daily risks, high stress, and constant pressure. Supporting them isn't just about discipline. It's about ensuring they have the capacity to perform at their best. Leadership must recognize that. As the story moves closer to its conclusion, one thing becomes clear. This 5-year extension is not just about maintaining order. It's about redefining it. Because in a province like KwaZulu-Natal, stability isn't static. It's something that must be actively built, maintained, and protected every day. And here's the final layer most people don't consider. Leadership legacies are not defined at the moment of appointment. They're defined at the end of the term. What happens over these 5 years will determine how Mkhwanazi is remembered, not the confirmation, the outcome. So as this chapter begins, the real story isn't that he was confirmed. It's what he does next. If you've stayed this far, you're already seeing beyond the surface. Subscribe now and make sure you watch the next video, because what's coming next breaks down the unseen forces shaping policing across the entire country. You won't want to miss it.